in the universe. It's 96% of what's driving the universe.
Trusted mainstream sources tell us that 3I Atlas, the massive comet that arrived in our solar system last year from interstellar space, faded from sight and traveled away from our solar system, never to return again. However, thanks to recent insights from popular science educators like Neil deGrasse Tyson, it is believed that the massive comet has returned, bringing with it many other things yet to be explored. Why would he say this? And how does it change everything we knew about interstellar travel? Join us as we investigate the return of the Atlas Comet, Neil deGrasse Tyson, and the Atlas Comet. August 27th was a turning point for experts at NASA and science educators like Neil deGrasse Tyson. The mysteries it unveiled about interstellar visitors changed many things we thought we knew about space, including the recent exploits and feedback from the dying Voyager 1. But to understand why a widely trusted scientist like Neil would make such a bold claim about the Atlas Comet, we have to go back in time to October 2024, the month when one visitor from outer space appeared out of nowhere and almost went unnoticed by our best technologies. So without further ado, let's get to it. On the evening of October 12, 2024, scientists working with the Hawaiian NASA-funded Comet Terrestrial Impact Last Alert System, also known as ATLAS, noticed something unusual traveling through the heavens. Led by astronomers John Tunry and Larry Dino from the senior faculty at the University of Hawaii, the experts at ATLAS had a simple job: find all comets and asteroids headed for Earth and report all findings to the higher-ups at NASA. Over the years, they had done amazing things such as predicting the 2022 WJ-1 comet before it hit Earth and locating the SN 208 massive supernova spotted several light-years away from our solar system. But this time, things were a lot different. Not sure of what to make of this, the work was outsourced to the Minor Planet Center. And in a few hours, follow-up calculations showed that it wasn't bound like most comets and comets. The movement of this object was hyperbolic, implying that it was a visitor coming from interstellar space. But this is where it gets interesting. This object was moving too fast to remain in the solar system, implying that it was expected to pass our solar system once and never return again. The path it was taking showed that it came from the famous Hercules constellation, moving at almost 30 kilometers per second, moving at a velocity of about 135,000 miles per hour. So, it's going really fast. For that distance from the Sun, this is really exceptional. You have to be an interstellar object to be going that fast at that distance. This type of thing had happened only twice before. Once with Oumuamua in 2017 and Borisov in 2019. The Atlas Comet would mark the third time, and in less than a week the world's attention would be brought to it. John Tunry and Larry Dino explained how they spotted it, and they did so by scanning the skies every 2 nights with 2 wide-field meter telescopes at Halakala and Mauna Loa. According to John Tunry, his job was to protect Earth by finding comets and comets headed our way, but instead he had captured a cosmic traveler from beyond the solar system. Karen Meach, an astronomer at the University of Hawaii who had been involved with studying Oumuamua and analyzing the Atlas Comet, also wrote the same thing. This other astronomer pointed out in her early notes and reports to NASA that studying this was a mission none of them had ever planned for. Kelly Fast, a program manager at NASA's Planetary Defense Office, believed it was a short and exciting discovery, but it's a shame we wouldn't have enough time to learn about it, as the speed of its movement would take it out of sight, never to return again. Now, keep this in mind because it will be important in addressing what truly happened in July 2025. But for now, with Oumuamua as an example, when it appeared in 2017, astronomers couldn't know more about it, as it was already on its way out when it was spotted. Then it moved far away, never to be seen up close again. The same thing happened in 2019, except that Boris was tracked for months before getting beyond close detection. But with the Atlas Comet, the astronomers were ready. And the big day came by late October when the Minor Planet Center gave it the official name that would be used by NASA, 3I Atlas. The number in the name was for showing it as the third known interstellar body discovered by NASA, while the suffix was given to honor the astronomers who found it. Excitement and curiosity within the science community were at an all-time high, with various astronomers from different institutes competing to learn more about this distant object before it went too far from our solar system. By December 2024, independent astronomers were able to join the fray with high-quality backyard telescopes. They were able to capture faint images of the interstellar object moving away from the constellations of Hercules and Ophiuchus. By last year's Christmas Eve, the official narrative was set and the Atlas comet was marked for intense study. And as we shall see, subsequent observations were even more exciting: the purpose and origins of the comet. As the calendar turned to January 2025, most astronomers around the world were locked in on the latest visitor from interstellar space. At this point, the Atlas comet had passed perihelion, swiftly traveling past the closest point to the Sun and slimming towards the orbit of Mars. At this point, it was bright enough to be tracked by cheap telescopes, and NASA was making plans to study it with the most advanced equipment the world could afford. This meant shifting the Hubble Space Telescope to observing only the Atlas comet. Thanks to its highly advanced field camera, Hubble was able to capture faint but sharp images. And thanks to these images, it was discovered that the Atlas comet was going through a modest coma, which meant that ice was rapidly evaporating from its surface as it moved too close to the Sun. This was a lot different from what was observed with Oumuamua, another interstellar object that displayed no such activity. The presence of vaporized ice meant that scientists could use spectroscopy to check for gases such as carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide. This way, the experts would be able to know what the object was made of. To do this, they would need help from another telescope in the skies, the James Webb Telescope. With its infrared sensitivity, scientists had the best chance to examine the object's chemical fingerprints. And by late February, the telescope had shown results even more exciting. The composition showed organic molecules scientists believe were the ingredients for life that formed billions of years ago. This discovery brought back memories of finding similar organic chemistries from comets close by. This implied that different solar systems share a common link of prebiotic origins, giving a much deeper clue as to where life as we know it came from. With the building blocks of amino acids found on the surface of the Atlas comet, the issue had gone far beyond ice and dust. This interstellar comet carried the basic chemical tools needed to form life. But that wasn't the interesting part. The Atlas comet now shows us that Earth and its ability to produce life might not be as unique as we think. Rather, it shows that Earth is just one out of several celestial bodies with the ability to produce and sustain life. As for where it came from, the Atlas comet was likely part of a large swarm of planet decimals. These are frozen comet-sized bodies that failed to grow into planets. It never became a planet or a moon, but became a leftover of failed rocks from another solar system's nursery. This was noted by Karen Meach of the University of Hawaii's Institute for Astronomy. She has worked on Boris, and the chemicals found were cyanide and diatomic carbon in the gases. Now with the Atlas comet, researchers were seeing hints of the same story. Comets were the bringers of organic chemicals needed for life. So if comets like the Atlas comet are rich in organic materials, then the interstellar comets may have carried the materials between systems. This theory is known as the panspermia idea of life. Imagine fragments of traveling bodies wandering the galaxy for millions of years, finding the right young planet to crash on and start the chemistry that naturally leads to biology. With this in mind, science educators like Bill Nye and Neil deGrasse Tyson have enough reason to believe that the Atlas comet is a wandering interstellar body on its way to an unknown planet that has no life. Think of this heavenly body as an ancient traveling seed of biochemistry formed billions of years ago in the outer edges of a distant solar system. It formed as a being of ice, dust, and carbon compounds formed from the leftovers of young planets. Then it got tossed out by gravity and started drifting through the blackness of outer space. It traveled this way for millions of years, crossing the dangerous interstellar zones between solar systems and carrying the materials needed for life.